Number 14. Eden Nicole says, what does being unequally yoked look like? Unequally yoked. Let's just go to the passage real quick here. So 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness, and what communion has light with darkness, and what accord has Christ with Belial, or what part has a believer with an unbeliever, and what agreement has the temple of God with idols, for you are the temple of the living God. So the unequally yoked in this passage is clearly talking about unbelievers. It's about the joining of a believer with an unbeliever in some fashion, right? We can conservatively say that for sure. Unequally yoked is not talking about believers and believers. Hey, you're two believers and you're unequally yoked. This is where we take a biblical term and we use it. It's not that there's no value in finding believers that have similar values and views on things, but we're using a biblical term in an unbiblical way, which harms our ability to know what Scripture says. It's like a little pet peeve of mine to not use Bible terms the Bible uses in specific ways, to not use them in different ways than that, because it's a way of distorting our understanding of Scripture, I feel. So don't be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. That's the focus, unbelievers. I've had some people say, well, this is about business relationships. It's not about marriage. And this came from someone who I know and love, who was going to marry a Muslim. And I said, well, don't be unequally yoked. I mean, if there's anything that yokes, it's marriage. The two of you are connected permanently. And so that would seem to be a big point there. First, it's in the 1 Corinthians 7, Paul talks about this as well. He says that basically single or widowed Christians are free to marry anyone they want in the Lord. And so the forbidding of getting married to a non-believer is a big deal as a Christian. Now, that being said, if you're already married, even if you wrongly married a non-believer, you're to make it work. You're to stay with them. You're not to just divorce them. Marriage is sacred. And it's like, you shouldn't have done that, but now I want to support you 100% in it. And I want you to see you having as successful a marriage as possible. But yeah, this is, it would apply, it seems, directly to marriage, and it could apply to any other weird situation in life where you're sort of joining yourself in a way that overlaps your, that combines light and darkness. You're not just partnering in any fashion, but you're partnering in a fashion that's going to bring compromise to your spiritual life with that unbeliever. So, yeah.